Archery visualization for my perfect shot. Sequence. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Sit or lie comfortably with your eyes closed. Use all your senses. See, feel, hear, and even smell the environment. Go slowly. Spend 30 to 60 seconds on each phase. Practice daily. Consistency builds stronger mental imagery. Pre-shot routine. Close your eyes and imagine you're standing behind the shooting line, feeling the ground solid beneath your feet. The air's calm and quiet around you. You can hear the subtle sounds of the range, perhaps distant birds, a gentle breeze, or the quiet murmur of other archers. Take 3 deep breaths. Feel your shoulders naturally drop with each exhale. Your mind becomes clear and focused, like still water reflecting the sky. All outside thoughts fade away as you prepare to step into your shot sequence. You look at your target ahead. See it clearly, crisp and defined. The gold center draws your attention like a magnet. You know exactly where your arrow will go. What does the shooting line feel like under your feet? What sounds do you hear in the background? How does your bow feel in your non-drawing hand? What is your internal dialogue saying to encourage you? Stance and setup. Continue visualizing. You step confidently to the line, feeling your feet naturally find the perfect position. Your stance is strong and balanced. Like a tree with deep roots, your weight is evenly distributed, and your foundation feels unshakable. You can feel the texture of your bow grip in your hand. Perhaps slightly rough, perfectly familiar. The bow sits naturally in your hand with minimal pressure, like holding a bird, firm enough to control, light enough not to crush. Your non-drawing shoulder sits naturally in its socket. Your entire body feels aligned and ready, like an arrow nocked and waiting. How wide is your stance? How does this width feel most stable? What does the bow grip texture feel like against your palm? How does your shooting shirt feel against your chest and arm? What does perfectly balanced feel like in your body? Nareach, knocking and hook. Visualize with precision. Your fingers find the arrow with practiced ease. You feel the smooth shaft, the slight texture of the wrap, the perfect roundness in your fingertips. The arrow slides onto the string with a satisfying subtle click as the knock seats perfectly. Your 3 fingers curl around the string in exactly the same position they always do. You can feel the string's texture, smooth, slightly rough, or whatever is familiar to you. The string pressure is identical on each fingertip. Your hook feels secure, comfortable, and ready. Your hand position is exactly where it belongs. The same angle, the same depth, the same contact points every single time. What does the arrow knock sound like when it seats properly? How does the string feel between your fingers? What does your drawing hand look like from your perspective? How do you know your hook is perfectly consistent? Draw. Feel the power building. You begin to draw with your back muscles, not your arm. Feel the large muscles between your shoulder blades engage and pull the string back. Your drawing motion is smooth and controlled, like pulling through thick honey, deliberate and steady. As you draw, your bow arm remains steady and strong. You can feel the bow's weight increase slightly as the draw weight builds, but your grip pressure stays exactly the same, light and consistent. The string travels back in a perfectly straight line. You feel your elbow tracking directly behind the arrow, your forearm aligned, your wrist straight and relaxed. What muscles do you feel working hardest during the draw? How does the increasing draw weight feel in your bow hand? What does smooth and controlled feel like in your drawing motion? How do you know your draw length is consistent? Anchor, solid and precise. Your string hand arrives at your anchor point with absolute precision. You feel multiple contact points simultaneously, consistent reference points that are exactly the same for every shot. These contact points feel exactly the same every time. The pressure, the angle, the texture. Your anchor is as solid and reliable as a rock. You could hold this position comfortably for several seconds. Your sight picture is perfectly clear. The target appears through your sight, crystal sharp and inviting. Everything is aligned. Your eye, your sight pin, and the center of the target form one straight line. What does each anchor point feel like against your face? How many different contact points can you identify? What does your sight picture look like when perfectly aligned? How stable and comfortable does this position feel? Aiming and release. The moment of truth. Your sight pin settles naturally on the target center. It doesn't jump or waver, it simply sits there like it belongs. Your concentration is complete, but relaxed, like watching a candle flame in still air. You begin to increase your back tension slightly, feeling the muscles between your shoulder blades tighten just a bit more. This back tension is what will create your release. Your fingers will simply relax and let go when the tension reaches the perfect point. The release happens like a surprise, even though you created it. Your fingers simply open, the string jumps forward, and your drawing hand naturally moves backward along your jaw. How steady is your sight pin on the target? What does the perfect amount of back tension feel like? How does your hand move after the string is released? What does a surprise release feel like to you? Follow through. Completing the shot. Your bow arm stays exactly where it was, strong, steady, and pointing at the target. You don't let it drop or move until the arrow hits. You can see your sight pin, still aligned on the target center. Your drawing hand has moved back naturally along your jaw and neck, coming to rest somewhere behind your ear. This follow-through movement feels automatic and natural, like the completion of a golf swing. You hold this follow-through position until you hear the arrow impact the target. Everything stays frozen in place. Your stance, your bow arm, your head position, your sight alignment. Where exactly does your drawing hand finish after release? How long do you hold your follow-through position? What does it feel like to keep your bow arm steady? What sound does your arrow make when it hits the target? Arrow impact and result. The satisfying conclusion. You hear the distinct sound of your arrow hitting exactly where you aimed. Perhaps a solid thunk into the target face, or the satisfying sound of hitting the gold. You see your arrow exactly where you visualized it going. Dead center, perfectly placed. The sight of your arrow in the target center gives you a feeling of satisfaction and confidence. You lower your bow with a sense of completion and success. This shot was exactly what you intended. Technically perfect and mentally controlled. What does your perfect arrow impact sound like? Where exactly do you see your arrow in the target? How do you feel when you see a perfect shot? What thoughts go through your mind after a great shot? Quick visualization prompts. Consistency focus. Every shot exactly the same. Visualize shooting 10 arrows in a row, each one identical in form, timing, and result. See your body moving like a perfectly calibrated machine. Same stance, same draw, same anchor, same release. Feel the rhythm and consistency of perfect repetition. Pressure. Situation. Calm under pressure. Imagine shooting the most important shot of your competition. People are watching, the pressure is high, but you feel completely calm and in control. Your shot sequence is exactly the same as always. Your technique doesn't change under pressure. Distance mastery. Confident at any distance. Visualize shooting at your longest distance with complete confidence. The target looks smaller, but your form is exactly the same. Your arrow flies in a perfect arc and finds the center with precision. Wind management. Steady in any condition. Imagine shooting in challenging wind conditions. You feel the breeze on your face, but your form remains rock solid. You make the necessary sight adjustments and execute your shot with complete confidence. Recovery. Shush. Bouncing back perfectly. Visualize following up a poor shot with a perfect one. You don't let the previous shot affect your technique or confidence. You reset your mind, execute your perfect sequence, and deliver exactly the shot you intended.